What was that?
Perfect. You want to be that guy?
Good morning, DCTV. It is Monday, November 7th, 2022. My name is Brad. We got Jaime. We got at Coach Tamp, at the Don Fran Show, and at the Real Data Lord with us this morning. Welcome to DCTV, the show where we talk about everything crypto and whatever the hell we want.
It's a great November beginning, guys. Let's go. Good morning.
Oh, we got some good stuff today too. It's gonna be great.
Absolutely. Right now, I'm looking at the futures, and it's all green across the board. The S&P is up marginally, only about 7.5 points. The Dow's up, and actually, these are off their highs, well off their highs here. So the Dow, I'm looking at, it's up 68 points. 608, that'd be great. 26 points for the NASDAQ. Oil has also taken a little bit of a step back. It's only down around 0.5%. And then I'm also looking at Bitcoin. That's actually dipped down into the red. That is at $20,728.54 per Bitcoin. That's down 492 points. But Jaime, very interesting developments on the charts. I want you to go ahead and take a look. Have everybody take a look at this real quick on the charts. I'll pull this up here for you. There you go.
Beautiful. So on the weekly, we are seeing it is halfway up. It's taking a little breather of where the pricing action is going. The interesting one I want to do is the 3-day. Here we go, where we are seeing it, and it's still showing. No, it is not. Let me flip that share. Right here. Perfect.
Go to this one.
Science.
Beautiful. Okay, here we go. So in terms of where we're at, Bitcoin on the 3-day chart. So now we're zooming into where we're at in price action, current price action. And Don Fran has an amazing charts coming up. As long as he doesn't blue screen, we are good. It's good information, guys. So
the brown screen.
Yeah. So literally what's happening here is we have the 53-day moving average, or the where we crossed above it, and now we are testing it as support. By tomorrow, even in 2 days, if Bitcoin closes at this level or slightly above, we will have tested it as support, which gives us the view of moving up further, the possibility of moving further up on the weekly. Oh, let me go with the weekly, share this tab instead. Here we go. So it could take us up to the 23,
almost
24,000 to find out, does Bitcoin continue up, or does it test it as a ceiling and move back down? But I'm very interested in looking at where you're at on these zones, Don. So I will step back, and we are looking for definition.
I yield to the Don.
Let me just pull this out. I gotta share my chart.
I like that you were bringing this question up too, Brandon. It says 24K and we get spanked. What do you think, Jaime? Is that something that's more likely to happen, or just general thoughts? Obviously, we're speculating here, but
so on the macro view, so if we back up on the 6-month chart and the 12-month, which is the annual, I don't know if we'll spank it, but I'll let you go, Don. Take that one.
So this is just an image, because what someone said, it was if anyone else is having this issue, let me know. TradingView is what was crashing with like Google Chrome, causing so I just shared an image. For instance, it's not TradingView Live, so I don't start sharing that information. You know, it's always when I share the good stuff, which is always when I bring my charts up, I get a blue screen. So I wonder if that's it. We actually talked about this. Was it last week? Week before?
Yes.
I mean, I specifically said Bitcoin's going to push up. People are going to get really hopeful. It's going to make a lot of people look like fools. I wonder if that's what's going on. Right now, I'm still watching the dollar, but still important to just know that we're hanging out sideways. We're still inside this range. Getting above that would be pretty hopeful. Getting above that 24 range would be above this zone. So really, I don't know, it'd be time to talk about reversal if it gets above 25. Anything below that would just be continuing this. It'd just be another green candle on the weekly, and then followed by some red ones. Maybe this picks up if anything is going to correlate with the markets. We got midterm rally. Data shows that midterms, so far, a lot of the midterms, a lot, if not all, I think every one of them, they rally, no matter who takes over, who gets in. So it has nothing to do with Republicans or Democrats. Every time there's been a midterm election, markets have rallied after.
Yeah.
So hopefully that takes place, and we're just set up for a rally. I wouldn't mind seeing some green and some things. Maybe
Absolutely.
Meta could stop selling off. Bitcoin could do something, and we get somewhere.
That would be great.
Yeah. So, and what we're saying here is we're looking for confirmation, guys. So don't jump into a trade now when there is no definition of where we're headed. So those are the points. Go ahead, Don.
Keep in mind too where we're at with the halvings too. Halvings really do create unprecedented pressure and demand. So,
yeah. When's the next one?
Yeah, there was
2024 around May.
24.
Jeremy. So Jeremy Siegel, if you guys don't know who he is, he's a professor over at Wharton School of Business. He was on CNBC this morning, and one of the more greater minds in finance. If you guys recall, any of you guys who follow me on the chaos, I reacted to him going absolutely apeshit. This like 75, 80-year-old man going nuts on CNBC, absolutely chastising the Fed. Actually came on this morning and talked about how he's bullish right now because of some of the things that he's seeing that aren't the lagging indicators as far as prices not going up, and that he's seeing peaks in inflation, and that some of the metrics that the Fed is using right now is all lagging indicators, right? The housing, unemployment, all those numbers that he's seeing, those are all lagging indicators. All the ones that are happening right now, we're not seeing increases in prices, and in fact, we're starting to see a lot of that come down. Energy could be a different story, and of course, that could play a factor, and anything could happen. But I thought that it was interesting that Jeremy Siegel thought that, even though we could see the economy not do well over the next 6 months, maybe 8 months, that the markets would end up bouncing. And Don and I have talked about this. I think maybe it was on this channel. If not, I know that we talked about it on the chaos, that, the economy might be, and you might feel it in your wallet a little bit more in 2023, but the markets themselves will end up moving up. And this includes Bitcoin. That's the reason why I brought this up, was that Bitcoin will fall into that category. One of the big reasons is because all of the markets in general are forward-looking vessels. So we're going to take a look at what happens in the future, is what the market is telling us. And we can see that time and time again in all of the recessions. 2009, everybody was feeling it in their pocket, right? Everybody was losing their house, but the market absolutely went crazy in 2009. So I think that there's definitely an argument that you can make that perhaps this may be the bottom. I'm not saying that it is, but I'm definitely not ruling it out at this point.
And the market is not the economy. This is a perfect lesson in that.
Yes, absolutely.
I think we're pricing in what you're going to feel next year.
Yes.
Exactly.
And it was on the chaos, because I was saying everyone's going to be complaining like, there's layoffs, there's all these job things, and then but stocks are going up, and they're going to be so confused as to why it's going up, just like it was during the Rona crash. Like, people are just sniffling, it's not even that bad, why are stocks selling off? And then like on the way back up, it's like, things are still shut down, why are we going back up? And they're still trying to correlate the two, and it's just not happening.
Right. I mean, the market bottomed in March of 2020, and that was
beginning.
That was not the peak of COVID, right? That was far from it. And so and so that was the bottom of the market then, and we saw a major rally in the the last 3 quarters of 2020, and then going into 21. So I think that there's certainly an opportunity here that could be developing as far as a bottom in the major markets, and then also in crypto as well.
Absolutely.
I took a Bitcoin trade. I hope Bitcoin's at least good for this month.
Good. So you went long.
Yeah. So not in my normal, like my account where I just own Bitcoin. I actually just bought half a Bitcoin the other day on Friday, when we were in here talking about it moving with the dollar.
Absolutely. That was pretty clear. Even Eunice was like, damn, she really enjoyed the one-on-one conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So that is your market analysis for the day. we might be seeing a bottom in the markets. We'll see. We'll see.
If the 3-day tests support around where it's at now and closes above by Wednesday, I'm taking along myself up to the 24 range.
Yeah, absolutely. So it'll be interesting to watch. So make sure that you're watching right here on DC TV as we go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time to cover this type of stuff. And then we're going to be sprinkling in throughout the week as well. So you guys might have seen some of the clips, as well as Brandon, aka at the Real Data Lord, putting up some extra content as well. So make sure you're subscribing, liking, hitting that notification bell to get notified when all of our content gets posted, as well as checking us out on Discord. The link is in the description. It's absolutely free. If you guys want to continue this conversation in there, we certainly will be happy to have you. Again, it's absolutely free. Go check us out at the DC TV's Discord down in the links below. So moving on, the WTF news of the day. Very, very interesting. Is there anybody here that has a fear of snakes?
Anyway, what?
A fear of snakes.
Are you afraid of a snake?
Oh no! Why would you be afraid of a snake? It's a lizard without legs.
Does it matter the size of the snake?
Danger noodles.
Yes.
I probably would like an anaconda from the movie, like 12 feet. Just
what about Titanoboa?
No.
Chicken snakes get pretty big.
Yeah, so just means you get to eat more later.
Listen, we're bringing it back to Florida.
Oh,
so a big snake's easier to pick the bones out then.
So a reptile wrangler was summoned to an Australian home where so this is Australia, sorry, not important. It was summoned to an Australian home where a resident discovered the cause of a moving microwave was a pair of mating pythons.
Dang.
A video posted to Facebook shows Stuart McKenzie of Sunshine Coast Snake Catchers responding to a home in Booterem, I believe that's how you pronounce that, where a woman discovered 2 carpet pythons in the throes of passion in her fucking kitchen.
How did they do that? Is there a picture?
Yeah,
like, is he just like chinning that thing around? Like, get over here, get on your back.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on here? Is she coiled up, left alone?
There it is.
It's very sexual.
Whoa.
You may have to censor this.
What if she has a headache? How does she let the other snake know?
Too late. They're already coiled.
Courtney Burnett is right. Bye. We're gonna have to call insurance.
So I don't have an innate fear of snakes either. Let me just blow this up. But if this was behind my microwave, I probably would consider burning my house down as well.
That's
I would consider the country I live in. I would consider where am I at on this earth that was even a possibility.
Yep. 22 caliber bullets are still very, very cheap, and it will handle that with a well-placed shot. That's all you got to do. And it is what I would do. If Lord Fenrir's not going to say it, I will.
I would shotgun that. You kidding me?
What, shoot it?
If you miss a shot, you piss that thing off and it lunges. It's fine.
You're in your kitchen.
We'll probably go to Home Depot.
Pellet guns are preferred, but pellet's not going to take care of something that big. So
I have a 44 Magnum, and the reason I bought this box of ammo was because it was like a picture of a deer, a picture of a bear, and a picture of a snake. I was like, who's hunting snake with a 44 Magnum? Like, just blowing that thing to pieces. But that's my snake ammo, so I'd have to use a 44 Magnum.
I like that, actually, Don. You see a lot of Texas ranchers still carry a 44 mag revolver on their hip simply because of rattlesnakes.
That's what mine is. It's the reason I bought it, because it just looks cool, and it's got 4 holes on each side at the end. So if it's like a hot round, it looks like a little hot rod shooting flames at the end.
If you need to see what it looks like, get 2 spaghetti noodles and just wave them around.
Dude,
Church, that's too good.
This is hilarious. I just laughed out loud at that. Courtney Gilliam says, with the gunshot by covered by home insurance. Yeah,
I don't care.
Yeah,
Home
Depot's close by.
That's right. I can fix a hole in the wall. That's fine.
Yeah, just
we're
practice staying calm and your
These
shot
snakes
accuracy.
They're giant, by the way. Those are 2 giant snakes.
You'd have to get the sawzall to get that in the trash.
This is a microwave, not a washer on the right.
I know.
That's
but
a great point. It does look like a washer.
Yeah. So we were hiking with the kiddos, 2 5-year-olds, just this summer in Texas, out there near Lake Pool, and South Dallas, and I remember hearing, I mean, it's really loud.
Rattle.
In the moment, all 5 of us were walking with my 2 kids, and I kept hearing this rattle, and then they went nuts. and then I see the snake coiling, like coming back and getting
shit.
ready. Yeah,
That's not good.
So I'm like, oh shit, rattlesnake. Man, you should have seen my kids climbing like spider monkeys onto my uncle. Ah, we're gonna
Good.
die, you know.
They're smart.
But you could see the guy ready. And of course, I don't know why it didn't strike the guys in front of the line. I was at the back and just went around it. But yes, it's how you react and how you run into the snake that startles you or doesn't. So I think you would have unloaded the entire gun. All the ammo, just blown the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Or a rattler, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't have a gun at that point. I should have.
Right. All right. So there is your WTF news of the day, guys. Once again, if you want to go check out our Discord, the link is in the description below, and make sure you're hitting that like and subscribe button. But Don from the Don Fran Show
is back.
Yeah, apparently didn't like my gun comment either. So
anytime it's good, Don, you're out.
I'm switching computers this week, so
yes, that would probably be
incredibly annoying.
Yeah. So hopefully we can keep you here while you're chatting about this. But I wanted you to bring up the topic that you wanted to talk about today, because I thought it was good. Do you need me to share the content?
Yeah, I don't want to confuse my computer. I'm trying to keep it as minimal as possible.
Okay, so just set the stage, and as I pull this up.
So it's I don't think this is a stitch. It's an actual question. The who's the guy from what's the book?
Robert Kiyosaki.
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Poor Dad author.
Thank you. I could not remember his name. I love that book, and I think he is a very smart guy. But man, is he a doomsday prepper? He is.
Yes,
he's a damn shill too, dude.
He's insane.
I got stories about that guy, by the way.
So he's interviewing. He asked somebody a question: how high do you think Bitcoin will go? And real quick, if you're in the chat, there's 15 people here, so there should be at least 10 comments. Let's say it's 2030. How high do you think Bitcoin's going to be by the year 2030?
I'll put something in there.
2030. Here, let me do.
It's 8 years, basically.
I didn't think 1 million was that far off.
It's plausible.
No, I didn't think 1 million was that far off.
And it depends on what happens to fiat too.
420 trillion.
Might as well. I mean, at this point, that was my opinion though. I was thinking like 500K to 1 million. It's throwing darts, but I would not be surprised. That's what I would like to see it at.
That's based on the U.S. dollar, though. The U.S. dollar that doesn't even mean Bitcoin went up. That means the U.S. dollar went down.
Yeah.
Thank you. Which is why I hate these long-term projections.
Right.
They're asinine.
I mean, at some point, the Fed's going to have to eat what they cooked. So.
Yeah. Well, we want a cheap dollar. I guess depends on who's president. Depends on who's doing things.
I don't know. It's not pulling up for me. If somebody else can grab that link, that would be great.
Yeah, it's not letting them even see it.
Yeah.
Shame.
I know.
Dr. Evil Voice.
Yeah, Boss Don. That's Boss Don, by the way, gents. Good seeing you, sir.
$1 million.
Brandon, are you grabbing it or you want me to grab it?
If you would.
All right, will do.
All right.
1 million's not even that much, right?
I know, a millionaire isn't as sexy as it used to be.
It's not.
No, it's from Austin Powers. He's like, $1 million. He's like, it's like not that much anymore, buddy. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's coming up, and
there it is.
You want me to play the whole thing, or what do you want me to do?
Yeah, play the whole. It's just a clip.
Yeah. All right.
Here we go.
Ready?
Let's share.
Roll the clip.
And I don't know if you checked share audio.
No noise. Yeah.
Tam, when you do the share, there's a little check mark where it says share audio also. And that's how you get the audio to run. So stop the share.
Why don't we just tell them what they say? Because I don't get this share audio stuff.
I'll figure it out.
I'll play this.
I know where the share audio is.
Yeah.
Saying,
who read lips?
He's basically saying, what is Bitcoin? What is the price of Bitcoin? He's asking this guy right here. What's the price of Bitcoin in 2031?
Not playing audio on Streamlabs. It's just the video you're looking at is muted, just bottom right corner.
Oh, gotcha. All right. Well, he basically says Bitcoin's going to be $12 million.
He says north
2031.
North of 12.5 million. It even says it right here in the audio. It's like off its normal trajectory. People are going to buy and realize it's an accumulation game. And yeah, so he says north of $12.5 million.
Damn.
Like,
no.
Like,
that out very quickly.
Yeah, first I wanted to make fun of that, and I was like, what kind of market would we be in for that to happen? I was like,
yeah,
right.
A global implosion.
To me, and this is not necessarily directly related to Bitcoin, but I look at something like this and I'm just thinking to myself, there's some really intelligent people out there that come up with some crazy ass ideas and like this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad is an amazing book.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else that comes out of his mouth is absolutely insane. And the people that he has is absolutely insane.
And I see it flip-flop. Like I've seen a lot following him where he flip-flops on opinion quite a bit.
He got caught with his pants down functionally. Like he had a straight up Ponzi scheme where he was having people come in and he was like, hey, I have all this information to make you wealthy, but you have to go behind this paywall and I'll give you more of it. And he did that to a ton of people and just played off of the reputation of Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is great advice. That book in and of itself is a great piece of advice and content, but everything else the man has done in his career you should take with a very, very skeptical grain of salt, because he got confronted by some reporters who were asking him about his Ponzi scheme he was setting up, and he was like, they made me do it because he basically sold his brand to some other people who were using the Rich Dad Poor Dad name in order to basically show some scams. So, and he was cool with it, and he put his name on it, and he was barking out to people, yeah, this is a great deal, it's a great investment in your future. And then he got confronted about it, and he fucking put his tail between his legs and cried about it. He thought he was off screen and was like, they made me do it, I didn't mean to compromise. Like I'll pull the video up at some point and we'll watch it, but like, yeah, anything this dude says, be careful. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to the cryptoverse. I mean, he might be very well versed in some of his strategies of the past, that are still applicable today. But when it comes to more forward-thinking technologies, as Brandon said, just tread with caution.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. One of his comments was, if Bitcoin ever hit 26,000, he'd back the truck up and start buying. But then in the process, in the last few months, I've seen him flip-flop on opinion, like, oh, it's high risk, be careful, so either you're in it or you're not,
right? And
now you have a statement like $12 million towards the future. It's a bit.
Don, do you have anything where if Bitcoin was to $12 million, let's say this guy's right, and it's not Robert who said this, but he's touting another guy who said it, like he's touting it on his channel, which is why we have a problem with it. But if hypothetically Bitcoin goes to 12 million, what will the rest of the economy look like?
Yeah.
And what's this? So I like this visual that Don had too. So show off this chart so you can see that he's got this trend line going straight to 12 million.
Please don't blue
this
screen.
This is crazy. Yeah. This
Please
is
don't blue screen.
Crazy chart here.
Yeah, like the first one I had up was only 120,000. I was like, that's kind of crazy. But then I was like, oh, that's not even close to 12 million. He says north of 12.5 million. Hang on, we got to scoot that up a little bit.
I was gonna say, it doesn't even fit on the chart. You just blew the whole chart out.
I gave him all of 30. We've got all year to be correct.
This is a monthly chart, by the way.
Do a log.
Yeah. So by 2025, January 2025, we're sitting at around 3 million. Yes, 3 million. That's not bad.
In 3 years.
Pretty good.
Not even 2 years, really.
Yeah, but it's not even an S curve. That's an explosion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's assume. Let's assume we get the S curve. All right, so that puts us at 25. We're still sitting right around $1 million. It's not bad. We're on track. So we get the 4 million mark around 29, and then balls to the wall the last 2 years, and then we're at 12.5.
So hold on. I don't want to like give this guy any flowers, but is there a plausible situation in which we could see this happen? And and the reason I ask this is because we look at how Bitcoin has started in its first 10 years, and it's had like those types of parabolic moves, right? Yeah, here you go, Don. So like this is Bitcoin right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the previous runs look small.
Is it that crazy to think about? And so I also want to just say that this is going to require a shit ton more money to make these types of moves. So that's the other side of this, right? Like the type of money they're talking about is trillions upon trillions of dollars to get it to that price
above gold.
Yeah,
nation state adoption, if only that were happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It would have to be adopted as a worldwide currency, which is not going to happen.
A global economic implosion.
Right. I mean, it took us 10 years just to get to this point. Just to get this to a point where there's some people talking about it, right? and it made CNBC and like that sort of stuff, right? But it's not a global currency, and I don't think that we have less than 10 years now for it to get to that point. I just don't know if I see it, but I just wanted to I think that what they're doing is that they're looking at this chart and thinking that's just going to keep doing it. That's what I gathered out of that whole conversation.
Yes. When people say stuff like that, like I even made, so this got brought up in my chat, and I was like, people like that just draw a trend line and say, man, that makes sense. I couldn't even find it, like a trend line to even send it that high, but maybe it's looking at just percentage growth and it's just going to keep doing miraculous stuff. That's about as crazy as AMC hitting 100,000, I think. AMC never hit $100. Like this hasn't even hit 100 grand yet. Let's cross some milestones first before we start throwing out some ridiculous numbers out there. Right. But in an economy where maybe if we're glowing green, we've got some nukes firing off. We got a new thing going on. Maybe. So Lord Vendor says that would be 252 trillion in value.
Yeah.
So
we don't even have that in debt yet.
It's inflation or nukes that get us there. The inflation where, like, off screen, we're talking about this, McDonald's, the value meal is going to be $100. That's the new dollar menu is $100. The average car is $40 million.
We're full Venezuela by then.
It would probably be like, for most Americans understand this. Remember watching, what was that Korean show everyone watched? Squid Games?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, let me borrow $20,000. Every American's like, are you out of your mind? And then they don't know how it translates or anything. Like, that's nothing over there. Like, they were winning billions. That'd be like us winning a scratcher's ticket. Like, it'd be.
Yeah.
Let me borrow a French fry.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll give it back, I promise.
As much as I wanted to just make fun of this, it did remind me of a quote. This is something Ross Gerber said. He said, the FTC requires me to tell you that investing in Tesla is a risk, but they don't require me to tell you that not investing is a risk in itself as well. And that did make me think of, this, like, what if that scenario did play out? What if you were still on the fence of, I'm not going to buy it. And then something ridiculous did happen. If that goes to 12.5 million, first of all, the people that have it were probably just barely scraping by because the economy is in crap. But the people that don't have it, they're not doing that at all. Like, they're not even hanging. Like, it's just got real weird.
And it has to be a flight from dollar, flight from ruble, flight from for it to just pile into the Bitcoin market.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have it. You don't have to have Bitcoin go to $12 million for us to say here and endorse. It is a risk to not own Bitcoin. Okay. But we're just not going to go so far extreme to where we would endorse a price valuation of this magnitude. It is a risk to not be in Bitcoin because it's a risk to not be in future technology. And that's exactly what Bitcoin is. It's monetary technology that cannot be uninvented and is inevitable. So it is a risk to not own Bitcoin. Just don't own it thinking it's going to go to $12 million. I can't stand price projections of this because, like some people said, we don't know what the dollar is going to do or any world reserve currency is going to do to influence Bitcoin one way or another. That's something to consider. And really, the furthest projection I would like to go out is 4 years. And that has everything to do with what Brandon talked about, because that's our halving schedule. And that is very unique to Bitcoin and a lot of other proof of work currencies, is a 4-year marker. That's the only reason I would go out even 4 years with Bitcoin, is because of having information.
Yep.
Otherwise, trying to chart Bitcoin really past a few years at best is really, you're just guessing. You're in the dark, and anybody who tells you otherwise is straight lying or doesn't understand.
Yep. And according to the growth curve that Bitcoin has been showing, $140,000 to $148,000 would be the next top. So
yeah, let's get back to 40 before we start talking about 12 million.
I think it's more fair to look at what the support is more than what the tops will be.
Actually,
that's fair.
that's what I want to show off is actually this yellow line right here. If we're going to talk about technicals, we get a little carried away and we come back down, but we do make these higher lows. But there, thanks for bringing that up.
He wanted it.
I know. I didn't. We clicked on it at the same time.
Brad, it's you. It's all you, brother.
So this line right here, Bitcoin gets carried away, comes back down, a little carried away, back down. We're seriously carried away. Hopefully we don't come back. It'd be cool if it was the bottom, but
yeah.
That being said, if you're going to talk about a technical analysis version of that, like this would have to be the trend line, because technically that one hasn't broken yet, so we could still argue that case. But that's not showing 12.5 million, not certainly in 80 decades.
Yeah, there has to be a implosion, but I'm with Tampa 100%. Not owning Bitcoin is the worst mistake because you have no hedge. Like, what else are you going to hedge? Okay, you got gold. Good. You got something else. Okay, but you should hedge. And Bitcoin, you can take it with you anywhere. Just remember 12 to 24 words, and it's with you. You can flee a country that's going into chaos, and you have something to offer or exchange. So it's a higher risk if you don't get involved. Do your homework. Please get involved.
Tattoo the words on your arm and roll
Don't
out.
do that.
Yeah, that way no one will see them.
Do not do that.
Does everybody write those down in order? Is that
They
what
have
do?
to be in order. They have to be spelled correct.
Correct. And some of the guys grab books and just highlight the words with others all mixed in, but they do it in the right order. The problem is sometimes you have to have war and peace, which is pretty heavy to carry across borders to get it in the right order.
See, I have mine written down, but they're not in order. Like, it's an order that I know that I'll never
please
forget.
tell me your wife knows or whoever.
Good to know.
Yes, somebody
appreciate
else
that.
needs to know.
Yeah,
No.
please tell your wife or family how to unscramble it.
You're not. If I die, everything's coming with me. Like, it's locked down. Like, unfortunately, I have too much.
He's contributing to the deflationary.
I hope she's sitting to your left, bro. Swing at him.
Right now. If she's here, she wouldn't even be a little bit surprised. Like, she knows. Like, she's married me. She's not completely stupid how I am. But like that way, if somebody does break in and take something, they take the little jump drive. Like, good luck. Yeah, it's gonna suck 'cause it's all gone. But I have to find you before you delete it. But yeah, like fail safe on fail safe. So I would tattoo it on my arm, and you would just be there. You'd probably be there spell checking everything, not knowing it's in a completely different order. So, good luck.
I guess Indo Crypto's behind you on dying with your information.
Yeah.
But Don, he has 24 word seed phrase, I'm sure, but he only has 20 words tattooed on his arm. That means 4 very strategically placed tattoos are on Don that we need to find. He's probably got a taint word. He's got a butt cheek word. He's got an armpit word, and he's got one more like on the inside of his nose or lip.
Inside of his lip. Yeah, I was going to say.
Great idea.
It's under his tongue.
Machine Gun Kelly. Yeah.
No, I'd put it in a weird spot. You're gonna have to do some weird stuff if you're gonna get that.
Last word, seashell, motherfucker, I told you.
Yeah, I mean, Lord Bitter is right. He says Don's Bitcoin's going to be burned. He said, good for you. Yeah, if I roll out, I peace out this place. Like, consider that off the market. Like,
just makes it more scarce. That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I did want to mention something too. That keep in mind, just as Bitcoin was made to be the internet or the money for the internet, I do think the money for the internet will also be similar to the internet. So I think inter-blockchain connectivity is going to happen at some point, and it only makes sense that people can kind of hold whatever currency they think is going to be providing more utility and value over the long run. And I think that's where you're going to see your denominators and numerators, right? You're going to have some currencies that are stable because they truly have proven their utility. And I think Bitcoin's probably likely to be one of those common denominators, as opposed to a ton of other coins are probably, faster transactions per second for sure. They're probably able to integrate with other things like NFT protocols and things like that. And so every blockchain has the capacity to have a specific niche and focus and a reason why it is valued, but they're going to be interconnected. Tampa and I have gone over this multiple times. We're going to keep talking about it. It's going to be interconnected because it has to be. And so just because Bitcoin itself isn't like, $420 billion, which that'd be a funny number. that doesn't mean the ecosystem isn't worth that, and doesn't mean you couldn't move that much money through it. So
Right. And that being said, knowing that, and if you do believe that interconnectivity is the future, then there's two things you need to look at. One is any protocols that are making interconnectivity their base reason for existing, i.e. the Cosmos ecosystem. And if you're not a layer 0 like that, then that means you need to focus on bridges. And so that way you can take your current protocol, which is not built on interconnectivity. You can't go all the way back down and change that because it's foundationally built into the protocol to not be interconnected. So instead of going all the way back down to the root and starting over, you have to rely on a bridge. And you can build a bridge into your protocol so that it can connect to other protocols who will receive your bridge. So bridging technologies or straight layer 0 interconnectivity protocols are a lot of the protocols that I am personally looking at and that I have personal investment in because of this knowledge. So I'm not saying you need to do it, but this is what I do. So layer 0s that are interconnectivity or bridging options that will give that same result, maybe arguably less secure. But again, it's an experiment that we're working on and continuing to, fine tune to get to where it actually works reliably.
And there's big money in figuring it out. So.
Yes. And layer 0 for all the green beans is at the protocol level where all the intercommunication and transactions occur. So, and the bridging, guys, the internet is the biggest bridge of them all to date. Economies, societies, communities, families, it's bridged everybody wherever they're at on the planet. So this bridging is going to be necessary. It is necessary for crypto industry to flourish, because just look at it from a standpoint of, if let's say a company, Procter & Gamble, chose a specific chain for their supply chain and all of their consensus work for public reporting, and now they buy another entity that chose another blockchain. You need a bridge instead of having to recreate the beast. If you have the bridging together, now you can just continue operating on the platforms you developed and move the information and move the money and move the industry forward without having to recreate the wheel or slash and burn to bring something else in to work for your company. So bridging,
you can even look at it. Yeah, you can even look at it just in a practical sense of everyday life. Let's say you had a sewer company and they're the best sewer company in the world. There is no better sewer company than this company, and they're located in Washington State. And then you have, let's say, an electric company, and there is no better electric company in the whole world. They're the best at electric. They're in Florida. And then let's say we had a home building company, and they build the best homes in the whole entire world, and they're in New York, right? What good is that until you connect them all together to form ultimately a suburb that actually functions, where you have your houses, you have your electric, you have your sewer, all together in one place? If you're the best thing in the world and isolated, then really what good are you? You do have value. There is value there, but until you connect to other things to make the whole picture, what do you really have? And that's where we are in a lot of ways in cryptocurrency. We have, Bitcoin, the granddaddy of them all. That's kind of the land that it's all built on. So it's everywhere, but it's just land. It's very important. It dictates our foundation, and it's everywhere. But if we can't build on top of that land to put together something that is actually usable, then what good is a whole bunch of isolated great things until we bring them together so that we can actually function and thrive within the connected ecosystem? What are we really doing? Right? That's why I harp all the time on, I don't think there will be a one chain to rule them all future in cryptocurrency, because you'll just be one chain that does one thing great. And I appreciate it, but I can't use it. It's got to be interconnected.
And that's the difference between a zealot and a scientist, guys.
Yeah.
Scientists look for the data, look for everything, like proof of concept. A zealot says one chain to rule them all. So be careful, do your science. And that's what we do at Decentralized TV. Please join our Discord, continue this conversation. It's amazing conversations. And on Wednesday, we're going to dive into a couple of these bridges with Tamp in the lead, and all of us doing our research to share with the world.
Hopefully
We're serious.
Hopefully she will have some more Doge Lord coffee before that show.
Oh, I love this stuff. I got
Thanks.
the sample pack, Chris. I don't know if he's listening or
thanks for
not.
Chris Anderson.
It's good.
Those were
Thanks for the call to action. Appreciate that.
He's
We are
in
curious
Cali.
scientists.
He's probably sleeping.
One chain to find. This is like some Lord of the Rings shit that we're all talking about here.
One chain to find them and one chain to bind them.
Bind 'em.
I mean,
I
there
know,
you
but
go.
like all the isms that we I was like, is Frodo popping out here or what?
Maybe.
So okay, so as Jaime said, if you guys wouldn't mind going to our Discord, it's absolutely free to join. Also, make sure you're hitting that thumbs up and that subscribe button to join us on Wednesday. You're not going to want to miss that show. I'm actually really pumped for this as well. As somebody who still feels like a green bean in this, I know that I've come a long way in cryptocurrency, but I think that this is something that is already way over my head, as you guys were talking about off camera this morning. So I'm actually pumped to just, like I said, bring my popcorn and enjoy the show. So make sure you guys are, that's right. Yeah. So make sure you guys are joining us on Wednesday. We're going to be talking a deep dive into some stuff. We've kind of really, I would say, I mean, we've gone into some deep stuff before, but I think for the most part, I think we've tried to cater to the newbie crowd. And I feel like Wednesday is going to be like
a little technical,
getting real deep into the shit. Yeah. And so I'm actually really looking forward to that as well. So, before as we get into the next topic, I want to let you guys know to go check us out and make sure that you're joining us for Wednesday's show. Okay, so Brandon, you had put out a video regarding the Solana conference last night. It got some views, but I don't think enough people actually saw that. So I wanted to kind of give you the floor on this and kind of reiterate a little bit about what happened at the Solana conference and just kind of get everybody else's input here as we're live as well on that.
This is a big deal. So if you're not paying attention, pay attention. This is a huge deal.
Yeah. Thank you for lending your ear to my nerdery. So so Solana, if no one's familiar with Solana, they are a very, very big proof of stake blockchain. And they have a lot of Silicon Valley support. A lot of Palo Alto people are paid to specifically work on it. So clearly they're in the same circles as some of Microsoft's and the big development companies out there, right? So the Breakpoint conference is their annual, announcement conference where a lot of big technical things are dropped out to the community. So one of the big news pieces that came out is Google is going to be integrating Google Cloud directly into Solana so people can host nodes and do a lot more development and have, their development tools. This makes it easier for people to actually get their hands on in building, decentralized applications on Solana. So
hold on, I'm going to stop you right there.
Yeah. And
please repeat, because this is, you said it, Brandon, you said it, but you said it so passively. Like Google is going to run nodes on the Solana blockchain. In our little world, that is mega news. And a lot of that is because, is because we're doing the same thing right now. So our asses are ahead of Google. Yeah. And we keep trying to tell you guys, this stuff is inevitable. It will be a part of your future as a normal investor, as a normal consumer, as a normal everyday function, just as the internet has integrated into your life and you now wonder how you got along without it. Cryptocurrency is in the same boat. And this announcement that Brandon's going to expand on is a huge part of how that will happen.
And the fact that enterprise is getting involved after Google and its subsidiaries were throttling or even muzzling any speech of blockchain and cryptos and everything else. Here they are actually putting money into the industry. And in this case, choosing Solana, who also has a Solana store. So they're trying to get into the retail approach. So all of us can get engaged into this. This is a huge vouch by someone like Google to step in and invest in this way and actually deploy their own infrastructure to support it. So that's the sign.
It's the Silicon Valley plug that they have there. And yeah, the article says one of the biggest announcements came out on Saturday when Google Cloud revealing that it was running a Solana validator and would start indexing Solana data via its BigQuery product in early 23. Google Cloud will also make Solana available via its blockchain node engine. So it's literally going to be a platform as a service inside of Google Cloud, off of their blockchain node engine to help users run their own nodes in the cloud. And what's interesting is like there wasn't as much movement on the price as you might think, which I think means this hit the techies' ears, but didn't hit the normal market's ears. And I think a lot of techie people aren't investing and trying to trade in whales so much. They're nose down in white papers, actually trying to slam out code and test things and do user acceptance tests and see if they can get some product ready to actually serve the community somewhere around when the markets start recovering. So not that we have any experience with that.
Yeah, and even Indo Crypto was saying that Warren Buffett's shell companies that exist in Brazil are also investing in Solana. So Solana is an industry enterprise supported. It's extremely centralized blockchain, but it is getting a huge investment, and not necessarily monetarily, as Brandon just mentioned. You'd expect to see it in the price, but they are getting a huge investment in the actual deployment of the infrastructure. So there's a lot of capital coming into that specific blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
And we're building nodes ourselves.
Yeah. So some other pretty big news that came out too. Solana is dropping a Web3 ready phone called Saga. Their Saga phone, it's just underneath that CoinGecko chart. It's supposed to be like the first Web3 phone. So I don't know exactly what that will look like. I'm assuming it means it basically has like a ledger built into the device itself, and some sort of a crypto wallet built right in, and probably multi-factor biometrics. It can see your face and your fingerprint maybe to get into the HSM. But yeah, we haven't seen the details on that, but we will be reporting on DCTV as soon as that comes out, because we're really interested to get our hands on the tech as soon as it's available and actually start trying to guide what direction it goes and give that feedback. So
you know what I kind of see on this, and this is me speculating. I have no knowledge of this. Again, this is my opinion 100%, but Solana's big push lately in its use case has been NFTs. And in this particular article, it even mentions that Solana had like a 1 billion NFT release that you can buy an NFT for 5 Sol and kind of get into the game, get used to it. Now, when you have a platform that is so NFT heavy and NFT ready, and then you have somebody like Google come in and want to run nodes, basically, I mean, Brandon can break it down a little bit easier, but the nodes are just going to allow certain companies to transact on a blockchain as if it is them doing the work, when really it's the node doing the work of interacting with the particular blockchain and the end user. But Google coming in, to me, what I can see between the NFT platform and then Google running nodes is any company associated with Google, especially in terms of advertising or just overall use case, which is basically all of them, now are going to turn to Google for things that are immediately applicable in the NFT world that we have talked about. Things like reward loyalty points for certain companies, any sort of marketing referrals that end up as a reward, anything that's practical to give loyalty to a company for the end user. If that company is associated with Google, which is basically all of them, then Google is running nodes on Solana to show those loyalty options in NFT form. It's basically how they're going to track and build loyalty with an end user. So you basically have Solana, then a node run by Google, then your end user. And your one end user can be tracked via Google and Solana to any sort of loyalty reward platform. And to me, that is, in my opinion, probably the most immediate use case for this sort of thing. And it is a big deal because, again, you are going to be using crypto without even understanding it or realizing it. And it just might be a good idea to understand how long division works before you just solely rely on a calculator all the time.
Good
And
pun.
that's why we say
solely.
yeah, exactly. So I can see this being the immediate use case and why Google wants to jump in, because, hey, let's take this analog system of punching my card, for a loyalty, and on my 10th visit, I get a free coffee or I get a free sandwich. Let's start digitizing this. And I think this is how you do it.
And the world not going to realize everything under the hood is going to be blockchain. It's like blockchain driven, like Tam just said. You'll have rewards program. You have no idea it's blockchain underneath it, ensuring in public ledger that it's legit and fair.
Yeah, and just a technical perspective on that. There's different types of data sets that you'd need. So blockchain's not uniquely equipped for all types of data. So like you wouldn't want all of the assets that your Unreal Engine video game is rendering to be on a blockchain, because it wouldn't be an efficient way to store that data or access that data. But there are things, for example, your balance or what things belong to you that don't need to be so frequently queried. They're not large quantities of data. They're small quantities of data, but it's really important data that it's accurate. It's really important data that it's not spoofed. Those are the types of things that belong on blockchain and are uniquely equipped for it's security focus. So
yes, and for the green beans in practice, it's literally the ledger. So who speaks of ledger? It's accounting. It's the validation of money or revenue, and that's what the blockchain's gift is validation and truth. So you don't need to process, like Brandon said, a Unreal. There's no need for it at all. But to validate what transpired and the closing of a deal, to enter it into a public ledger, that's what the blockchain is for, is to validate truth.
Right.
And that's the use case.
And speaking of games, this article continues to go on about how gaming was a big focus of Solana, because Solana claims it can do 65,000 transactions per second. And that's pretty unprecedented. That's a really, really big number. And I'm interested to see actual stress tests to see if it could support that, because that's a really, 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 really bold claim.
Half. It'll do half at best.
Yeah, that's perfect theoretical numbers. Credit cards are like,
there's something like 60, 70,000 a second. Visa, MasterCard.
But they're using centralized cloud infrastructure, right?
Correct.
So they're trying to hang with that, or at least show off that they can.
Yes.
That's the goal. Yeah,
Yes.
and I think that's why their marketing said 65K, but who knows? I've been pleasantly surprised in the past by all sorts of tech outcomes. So the focus here, though, is if Solana does have high speed capabilities like this, that does mean it's uniquely equipped for games, and that's what I previously was saying. That like you have a lot of art assets and physics engine code and whatnot that shouldn't be accessed from a blockchain, but you probably do have some things as to like what account owns this. Like if you look at like World of Warcraft, for example, like you have like maybe you have like a unicorn mount or something that's unique to you. Maybe you have some dragon scale armor that's unique to you, and it took a lot of work for you to actually get that in the game, and it'd piss you off if you saw somebody else having that by cheating, because you spend a ton of time and effort with you and your friends trying to accomplish certain things to gain that. So Solana is saying that it has potentially 65,000 transactions per second, and that does make it uniquely equipped to be the solution for games. And I think that's where Google's focusing. I think Google's focusing on the gamification and integrating blockchain as a layer on that, because NFTs have a obvious application in gaming, right? Yes. Anytime you unlock something, anytime you get an achievement, all of that should be part of your profile. And there are some things that you'd want to trade and possibly create some sort of an online digital economy, right? Where you're able to actually sell these for cryptocurrencies. I think a lot of people would pick up certain games just to be able to pay their bills and whatnot. I mean, we've seen this plenty of times throughout the years, right? People grinding Pokemon Go accounts, people grinding World of Warcraft accounts, like people... When Star Wars dropped their MMORPG, we saw that happen too. So this isn't uncommon, but I think that's something we should be focusing on. Anytime you hear news about Solana and some game coming out, you're probably going to see Solana's price reflect some of that bullishness, because they now literally have a Google SDK. That's going to increase adoption and create a architectural pattern where people are able to say, okay, we grab all these tools in the stack if we want to do gaming, right? It's an obvious solution that you grab these pieces because they fit together, and it's been proven.
So just to, we're almost out of time, but I mean, maybe this is another topic for another conversation, because I think we could go really deep into this.
Yeah.
But we talk about, I shouldn't say we, but mainstream in particular talks about, Bitcoin potentially replacing the dollar or what have you. To me, based off of what Solana is saying and just kind of looking at the entire landscape from a macro perspective, I see that there isn't going to be one particular cryptocurrency that replaces the dollar. I almost kind of see it as I have multiple credit cards that serve different purposes. And I think that you're going to have the similar thing with cryptocurrencies, in that Solana, I have my Solana for X, Y, and Z, or I use my Ethereum for X, Y, and Z, and that there isn't going to be, and maybe there will, I don't think it's going to happen in our lifetime, but I think maybe there will be maybe a global currency that everybody uses, but I'm not quite sure it actually, because of the limitations that you're speaking of. I don't think that it doesn't seem to me that it could happen anytime soon. And in fact, it more seems like there's going to be, like, you have almost like certain credit cards for certain things. Each currency has its own purpose in your household or in your wallet.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, Brad, and it's an absolute fair assumption. I don't necessarily think that it will go there, because I don't think that public use of a blockchain, it's not going to be successful if you know which credit card to use for a certain type of purchase, like you mentioned. Successful integration of crypto into end user transactions will entail the end user not even knowing they're using crypto. So you shouldn't even know enough to say, well, I need this credit card versus that credit card. I do see what you're saying, though. It's fair. And it's a good way to think about it. But in a real world use case, you won't even know you're using it. It'll be more of a back end developer thing.
Yeah, Grandma has no idea Farmville has a SQL database. She's got no idea what that is, right?
Right. But it's very true.
Yeah.
And it's like browsers. We have so many browsers everyone's using based on the need that they have or what they understand the browser is doing. So crypto is going to be the exact same thing. As long as they're building. Go ahead.
Right. That'll be a developer thing. And Brandon keeps bringing up an SDK, and that's a software developer kit. And all that is basically is just a modular marketplace where developers can go and say, well, I want this piece and I want that piece and I want this piece, to very quickly put together a protocol or a use case to do something for a business.
Yep.
So again, your analogy, Brad, is very applicable to the developer end of things. To the actual end user, they won't even know about it. So your analogy does make sense, but it just won't be for end user.
Yeah, and our focus right now is just getting tools so people can actually build applications that, the general market will be able to use seamlessly. Like Grandma doesn't know there's a SQL database. She doesn't know what that is. She just knows she likes carrots and they need to come out of the ground so she can get more coins, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Shout outs to Grandma.
I think that's going to be a church 129. I think so. I think that could be just a topic in general that we cover, what actually ends up happening as far as that's concerned. And so to me, I think that's more of a short answer that we just gave. And I think that that's definitely a topic that we can dive a whole lot deeper into. So we'll table that for another time, for another day. But guys, thanks so much for tuning in. If you won't mind hitting that subscribe button, if you're joining us for the first time, we certainly would appreciate it. Also hit that notification bell, as we will be live at 9 a.m. Eastern time on Wednesday. And we have some interesting topics, Thor being one of them. So you're not going to want to miss that. I think
is dragon scale armor one of them, because you had
roll the birthdays.
Yeah. With Don on that.
Yeah. So yes, birthdays. Not too many exciting birthdays this November 7th, 2022.
You probably didn't look hard enough.
David Guetta is 54.
54.
Yeah, I thought he was like a young dude. Maybe, I guess it's not.
Well, he's a young dude who's been raving since the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, I just didn't realize that he'd been raving since the 80s.
Cocaine does work.
Adam Devine is 38, and then we have Maryland's own Gervonta Davis, who's 27 years old. That guy is an absolute fucking beast. I don't. You guys know who Gervonta Davis is? Somebody tell me they know who it is.
Expand it.
He's a professional boxer.
There you go.
Yeah,
Champ.
yeah, professional boxer, and I think he's going to be just. He's insane. Just go Google him if you don't know who Gervonta.
I think he's going to be a hit.
Is. Yeah.
Nice.
I see what you did there.
But then, of course, we also have Karina Collins, who is 55 years old. She's the star of Science Friction, Classic Bush, Ass Plugger Classics, Butt Slammers 9, and Meat Pushing in the Seat Cushion 3. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you all tomorrow. And have yourself a great day and keep calm and huddle on.
Get
And
out
go
there and
vote.
vote, everyone.
Go vote.
Go
Go
So
vote.
we can get these ads off our TVs.
Yes.
Yes.
Bye,
No matter
Felicia.
who. No matter
Get
who.
done.
out there.
Please
Vote.
hurry.
Vote.
Bye.
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 Make democracy